Welcome to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. I'm your host, Dana Kester McCabe. That was the Delaware Choral Society performing Handel's Messiah. Dr. James Wilson is the artistic director of the Choral Society and an associate professor of music at Wesley College. Dr. Wilson also directs the Wesley College Choir, the Kent Chamber Choir, and the Chancel Choir at Wesley United Methodist Church in Dover. Recently, I caught up with Dr. Wilson and I asked him to tell me about how he became interested in singing choral works and a little of the history of the Delaware Choral Society.
I've always loved singing, and choral singing in particular. When I was 11, I sang in the Metropolitan Boys Choir in Minneapolis, and fell in love with it then. And in fact, I fell in love with it even sooner when I was it was an all-district elementary school choir. And so our teachers would select a handful of us from each school, and we'd come together, and this was like a 60-voice choir. And that was the first time I experienced singing in harmony with a group. Because in elementary school, you're mostly just singing the same melody together. But in that choir, we were able to sing parts, and it was thrilling. And ever since, I felt the power of people coming together and singing together. How many other avenues toward different corners of the community coming together to create something together exist? That in the choral society, for instance, we have people of all different ages, all different faith backgrounds, all different political backgrounds, coming together and doing something that they love together. And there's no reason to argue or debate. It's just for the love of music. And so many of the pieces that we sing are about love and fellowship. Choral Society was formed in 1957. It was a sort of consortium of church choirs in the Dover area who wanted to sing pieces like Handel's Messiah, larger works that an individual church choir normally doesn't do. So they came together, and I think they started with Messiah, and they've done Messiah every 5 years since then. And next winter is actually a Messiah year, so that's coming up. But the choir has existed ever since as a not-for-profit organization, and they do not only sacred music but secular music now. Generally 2 concerts per year, and the Schwartz Center has been our home for most programs.
The Delaware Choral Society will partner with the Delaware Youth Chorale under the direction of Heather Swartzentruber for a concert coming up next week at the Schwartz Center in Dover, Delaware. Here's what Dr. Wilson had to say about what they'll be singing.
This is the Choral Society's winter program. It's called A Poet's Lyre, and it involves both the Delaware Choral Society and the Delaware Youth Chorale. The Choral Society is a large community chorus with about 70 singers, and the Youth Chorale, it's about 4th through 7th grade singers, and there are 20-some of them. And the first half of the program is the large chorus, and then the second half involves both the large chorus and the youth choir, and we sing a variety of carols together. There's history of the poet or the bard singing his or her poetry, and I think we often forget how much choral music is tied to poetry. And so this program, I've selected pieces that incorporate great poetry by mostly American and British poets. So we have pieces set to poems by Robert Bridges, Longfellow, Robert Frost, James Agee, Christopher Marlowe. So it's a variety of great poetry set to beautiful music. Some of these poems are about philosophy, and I think about the Robert Frost poems, and stopping by woods in a snowy evening, and the road not taken. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood. The symbolic meaning in those poems. It's powerful stuff. It's stuff that makes you think, and everybody in the choir will have a different interpretation of it. Yet we're making sounds together. We're creating a unified whole, even though we all come at it from different understandings and different interpretations. I think that's really neat. We're taking music and poetry that's on the written page and giving it life, giving it breath. So there are various stages along the way that these artists, the poet, the composer, who in most cases on this program are different people. So there's that collaboration. Then we add our collaboration to it, and then there's the magic of what happens in the performance. Anything can happen. That's the magic of musical concerts and the theatrical stage. Is anything can happen, and that's part of the excitement of going to hear live music or live theater. And it's art making in the moment. So yeah, it's a synthesis of all those different stages of art.
Dr. Wilson says that joining a chorus is a great way for kids to get out from behind their digital screens and do something as a team. Sports are great, but for the youngster who's not interested in them, music is a great way to go. Adults also benefit from the sense of community and pleasure found singing in a choir. Both the Delaware Choral Society and the Delaware Youth Choral are open to anyone who wants to join.
The kids are really cute. They're my favorite part of it. The youth choir, we've only had them this is their 6th season. So that group is relatively young, and we started that group while I was on as artistic director. So I've gotten to see it take shape and grow, and I want to see it continue to grow. I want to reach more parents and their kids. I want more people in the community to realize what a value it is to be a part of it. It's only $40, so I know they're paying more than that for soccer. So, what's great about both groups is that no audition is required. Anybody can come and join and sing. If someone is maybe reluctant because they think, oh, I don't have a good voice, or oh, I don't read music very well, these are good outlets. They're the best outlets in town because they're large enough to where you feel the support of everyone else in your section. If you're a soprano or an alto, for instance, there are 20 some other people in that section that you can mix your own contribution in with. So you're not sticking out. Nobody in the audience is hearing you individually, but you are contributing your voice to the product, and so that's comforting for people, I think. And if you go through the rehearsal process, singers notice that they're getting better at reading the notes, and it gets better every week. And people, they get better in their skill set every week.
Music lovers will enjoy the concert next week, and it may inspire you and your children to join your local chorale group. A Poet's Lyre will be presented next Sunday, December 11, at 4 p.m. at the Swartz Center for the Arts in Dover, Delaware. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or Twitter, and next week join us to learn more about our local culture and get connected to our natural wonders. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, and our underwriters for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. If you'd like to become an underwriter for this program, visit delmarvaalmanac.com/support. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.